When you have the natural consequences of literally wishing the president had died in public come due, that should be a good thing. That those are natural consequences. That's why I made the meme here, right? You don't need to dive in front of liberals who want you dead, who literally encourage assassins to kill Donald Trump, and those people go on to kill Trump supporters. You do not need to dive in front of these people to show them that you're the good guy, okay? These people do not care. They do not care. They will not stop until the natural consequences of their actions fall on them. You cannot have unilateral disarmament of cancel culture, okay? Now look, I am sympathetic to the idea that everyone should not have to live in fear of holding political opinions. In fact, I would like a radical depoliticalization of our public square. But the only way that happens is victory. There are an awful lot of people who want to believe that they can get around this moment, that the culture war can end, that all of this conflict and all of this disagreement can end without victory. They want to just return to some mythical moment in the 1990s where we didn't disagree with each other. Everybody just got along fine. Look, that never existed. It never happened. That's not how anything works. The left has just been in charge, and you have been assuming that the default settings of the left were the objective truth. And then things got a little weird in the 2000s, and you started to finally realize that actually the left is not this beneficent force that is going around and setting objective standards of good for everyone, but actually they are malicious actors just who were always willing to destroy the livelihoods of people who had different opinions. That is not new. And they were doing this to people who had very mild opinions. Someone who said, maybe I don't agree in transing the kids. Maybe I don't think that gay marriage is such a great thing. These are the people that they were destroying. And you're going to tell me that now, when people are literally wishing death on the president, people are crying for the next assassin to murder Trump or his supporters, you're telling me that now you're squeamish about some people getting fired? That's not how this works. It ends when the left loses power. It ends when you have victory. Once you have victory, then you can be gracious. Then you can say, you know what? Now that we have control of these institutions, now that the left can no longer influence people's firings, people getting arrested, people getting put in jail, people getting sued, now that the left has lost all of this power, now, after all of these things, we can allow you to speak freely on these issues because the people who would punish you on this have no power anymore. But until you achieve that level of victory, unilateral disarmament is insanity. It is suicide. You have lost your mind if that is what you're saying. Now, I will say this. There is a level of priority, target priority that matters. When you are looking at who should be focused on for these kind of remarks, I think targets like Tenacious D or Destiny are perfectly fair game. These are people who have public profiles, who make a living out in the public sphere, who are putting themselves out there. They are not civilians. They are people who have chosen to be in the public eye. And when they make statements like that, they know what they're doing. They're also high profile, so it's just more worth your time. When these people get canceled, when they face consequences, it is more noticeable. So should you spend all of your time trying to cancel some grandma running a Home Depot cashier spot? No, you should not. That is not a good use of your time. Honestly, running in front of these people on a cell phone and saying, "Hey, how could you say that? I'm offended." Honestly, it feels a little over feminine. It feels very leftist in nature. I would not encourage this. However, I'm also not going to whine or cry about someone like this losing their job, because there would not be a tear shed for a conservative who had the same opinion. Imagine, if you will, for a moment, this very, very YouTube, very, very, be clear, YouTube censors, very, very hypothetical moment in which Barack Obama had dodged a bullet. And a bunch of conservatives came out and said, "Oh, well, I wish that the shooter had been more accurate." Imagine conservatives making fun of a leftist who had been killed by a crazy right-wing assassin at a Obama rally. What would that look like? What would that look like? To be very clear, we don't have to guess. The FBI has literally kicked in the doors and blown away people who have joked about or have talked about violence against Joe Biden online. You know that if something like that had happened to Barack Obama, especially, but maybe even Joe Biden, that would be the end of every single person who responded like that on social media. They wouldn't just lose their jobs; they would be destroyed in public. They would probably have to fear for their lives. It would be a complete destruction of them. Now, I'm not saying that to highlight the hypocrisy of the left in this scenario or whatever. What I'm trying to explain to you is what a real response to something like this looks like. That's what the left would do. I understand that you want a world in which we don't have to worry about the politicalization of people's lives. I want that too. But we have created the total state. And then in the total state, no action is private. I don't want to live in that world. But the way that you stop that is not by giving up all the available weapons on your side politically, tactically. Instead, the way that you get that is by winning. And only in victory can you be magnanimous. Only in victory can you then extend that open hand. But you must win first. You must win first. You must prioritize that first. And then you can go ahead and exercise the principles of things like free speech that you would like to see returned to public life. But that is never going to happen as long as the left is in power. And if the left never feel any consequences, especially when they do something this heinous, they're not just saying, "Oh, we disagree with a policy." They're not saying, "Oh, we even disagree with your morals, your religion, any of that stuff." They're saying we literally are wishing that this guy had gotten his head plastered all over the TV screen. That's what they're saying. That should carry weight. That should matter. That is morally indefensible, and that's going to come with public costs. You should not be saying, "Oh, we need to avoid those." Nope, sorry, that's not right-wing cancel culture. That's letting a leftist feel the natural consequences of horrific behavior. And it's time for conservatives to stop saving the left from their own horrific behavior. That's all the conservative movement does, is save the left from their own mistakes, their own abhorrent behavior. Enough of that. No. You need to win. And then you can work towards a depoliticized culture. But nothing else is a substitute for victory.